Michael Bay is a 40-something-year-old guy in a kind of an 18-year-old's mind. And he really understands what young audiences look for in movies.
Transformers are about a story, but really often it's about this battle between these warring Transformers. And nobody brings that kind of action stronger and visually cool than Michael Bay. We couldn't have asked for a better combination of bombast and slick-looking cars with our help from Michael.
He understands action. He knows what that boy audience, that male audience likes. He also shoots vehicles phenomenally.
What? Mike is the greatest action director alive. That's what I personally believe. There's not one movie he's ever made that's unenjoyable. There's not many directors alive who do it like he does.
He really has a real sense of what is going on at all times, and it's very impressive.
I just remembered having the toys, seeing the cartoons, and then to see what he was able to kind of visualize, him and the guys at ILM and all the creative people behind reinventing the franchise, is what I think he's great at.
I like to give him credit personally for his storytelling skills and his sense of humor about the human comedy. He's just great about finding a very serious moment and just diffusing it with just enough comedy that kind of sort of offsets the spectacle.
Excuse me, are you the Tooth Fairy?
Michael was very reticent to come into Transformers. I think he was a little bit skeptical, to say the least, about his involvement in a Transformers movie. It sounded like a toy movie. He wasn't quite sure what his role would be and how fun this could be. And when we got together and we spent some time talking about the idea of the scale and scope of Transformers, of the mythology of Transformers, and Michael really had an understanding of what would make an audience totally delighted and surprised about Transformers. And it was this notion of capturing absolute reality, that you are standing in real time, in a real place, witnessing a war between sentient robots you never knew existed and two characters that might be opposing, having just sprung out of two vehicles that were driving down the street.
We had a clip that we showed, a more realistic looking truck transforming in a city environment, and that juxtaposition of that tall alien in the city with people running around. He kind of went back in his seat and we played it a few more times. I think from that little nugget, it was amazing to see how he could see a whole movie. To me, Michael's biggest contribution to the Transformers brand is the fact that he's brought these characters to life. His ability to get the heart of a character like an Optimus or a Bumblebee isn't something that's easy, and he's really done it well.
He redefined what Transformers were in a very cool way for today's audience. We would give him a presentation of what we thought the film should be about, and we would talk about the lore. And Michael was really good at picking key beats of that lore and then blowing it out. One was the Fallen in the original 13, and we just mentioned that in a presentation. The next thing you know, he's writing a whole film based on that character.
I have a lot of respect for his creative vision and what he's been able to do with this franchise.
He really has a vested interest and is in tune with the fans and wanting to keep the fans pleased when it comes to Transformers.
Keeping Peter Cullen as the voice, a lot of the same sound effects that they used in the original stuff. Really respecting what fans of the Transformers loved about it.
Mike's greatest asset and greatest contribution to this is his youthful exuberance in the way that he tells the story.
He is an immensely earnest guy. And he really wants to perform at the highest levels. So many times we hear about how Michael may be demanding to others, but I don't think Michael's any less demanding on himself. It's not just that he has some persona that he carries around on a movie set. It's really the way he drives himself to be better every time and then to make the next project even better, having learned some things from the prior project. And I think that's really the evolution of the three Transformers movies.
I think his imagination, his ability to visualize shots, he's able to sort of see things that we don't even know we're doing half the time. You know, that's why I trust him.
There are certain films that I feel a director is made for. It's not that they're not capable of doing other type of movies, but I don't think there's a replacement for Michael Bay when it comes to Transformers.
Transformers would be a nothing movie without Mike. He's the guy with the vision. He's the guy who's pushing the whole troop uphill. He's the beginning and end and middle of this whole thing, man. He's the brain behind everything.